Hey everyone, I'm the smart and pretty Davida.
Hey everyone, I'm the smart and prettier Becca.
That's not true.
It is true.
Now check us out for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
Spin around! Now, do you still remember who's who?
Don't sweat if you can't tell us apart.
Even our grandma had trouble too. Back in the days when we got sick together, my sneaky sister would trick our grandma into giving me a double dose of medicine so she could take less.
Yeah. Anyways, we are the identical dynamic duo. We wanted to share with you the result of our 22 years long experiment. We wanted to see which approach, individualism or collectivism, would make us identical twins reach our fullest potential.
We divided our lives so far into 3 different stages: childhood, teenagehood, and adulthood. For the first part of our life, we grew up in the East, and for the second part, we switched to the West for schooling.
We see ourselves as the perfect research participants in our experiment because we share a bunch of naturally controlled variables. We have the same birthday, we have the same DNA, the same chromosomes, even the same eyesight, and even the same shoe sizes.
Oh, forgot to mention, all of our upbringings and social environments were all identical.
We are happy to tell you that we now figured out which environment would unleash our potential. It has been an amazing journey, and we can't wait to share with you all. So, in the first stage of our life, we grew up in Eastern culture. Our family really valued the spirit of teamwork and sisterhood. So we were basically living in each other's pocket 24/7. And as a result, we developed an unbreakable bond and mutual support.
Speaking of mutual support, we have a fun story to share.
Do you know what was the best thing for us growing up as twins?
Going to the
all-you-can-eat buffet! We were so excited about being identical twins when we were young because it made us each other's doppelganger.
And this is what happened. Davida goes in, eats all she can, and pretends she forgot something outside.
Whoop.
As she stepped out, I come in, pretend to be the same person, and eat as much as I want to eat.
Back then, we didn't fully understand the gravity of responsibility and consequences. All we knew was that, as identical twins, it seemed like we had 2 lives to spare. That means even if one of us kicked the bucket,
the other would keep on living.
And when we were young, we are not afraid of anything because no one dared to bully us. As identical twins, we always got each other. And whenever some other kids tried to pick on us, we would stand side by side like a giant 2-headed spider and scare them off.
As you can see, we grew up so similar and so tight after the end of this first stage of the experiment. And it has a lot to do with our Eastern collectivism environment.
By some stroke of luck, our parents sent us off to the West for school. And before we knew it, we found ourselves in the second phase of our experiment.
We were eager to see, well, this new environment shape us as identical twins. You know, the teenage years is already like a roller coaster ride, and now we have to go through everything in a new culture that values individualism. Let's just say it was a
wild ride. I still remember the first lesson we had in school was about plagiarism. And immediately, we looked at each other and be like,
isn't this just our everyday life?
I feel like everything about me, including my nearsightedness of 5.0 diopters, were all plagiarized by her.
Not my fault. Being identical twins sometimes is just exhausting.
We also realized that other twin pairs in our school deliberately dressed in unique clothes to show off their individuality.
We once stumbled upon a pair of identical 91 years old twin sisters who look nothing alike.
Nothing alike.
When we asked them about it, they told us the importance of being unique and embracing each person's individual personality.
Individual personalities.
That was a lesson we took to heart as we entered the second stage of the experiment.
So we quickly learned that, in order to thrive in this new Western world, we needed to learn to adapt.
So we stopped finishing each other's sandwiches.
And sentences.
And both my twin and I realized that being each other's doppelganger is just not the most ideal situation. Plus, I just cannot bear with her annoying quirks anymore.
Jesus, stop that, Becca. Over the next few years, we made conscious efforts to be as different from each other as caramel
and gravy.
For example,
we decided to go to different classes, and whenever my sister rocked a high ponytail, I would quickly switch on my hairstyle to something completely different.
And if she were yellow, I would quickly change mine to something red.
And every time when someone called us, the twins! We would seriously correct them with a straight face.
That's not our names! I mean, come on, we look nothing alike.
I'm 2 centimeters taller.
And I am 1 minute older than her. To stop this never-ending question of who's who, we experimented with different styles and behaviors to stand out from one another. As a result, we uncovered our hidden talents.
I come to realize that I'm just a really good leader. I mean, I'm always leading her, so my leadership skill becomes stronger.
Whoa, sounds like someone's boasting right now. I mean, for the record, I'm a lot more strategic at networking.
Yeah. She's such a networking nerd. If you ever look up networking nerds in the dictionary, her picture will pop up.
We look exactly the same, so that could be your picture. Just saying. When we entered the third phase of our life, we were in our adulthood. And to be honest, we were pretty satisfied with our situation because we never meddled in each other's affairs and we had our own separate lives.
However, everything changed when one day I stumbled upon a disturbing discovery. I realized that some street vendors were selling this kind of painted turtles. Their shells adorned with beautiful, eye-catching colors like pink, red, green, blue. They even have images of Justin Bieber and Peppa Pig on it. At first glance, I was enchanted by their charming appearance. However, as I delved deeper into the issue, I began to realize the horrifying truth behind it. The paint being used on these turtles was toxic and lethal, and those turtles will often die within a few weeks after being sold as pets, a tragic end to their short lives. The thought of their pain and suffering made my heart wrenching, and I knew I had to do something. Although initially I thought about including my twin in my efforts, as she's excellent at networking and could have been a great help. However, I just couldn't shake off the fear of being perceived as the copycat twins once again. So I made the decision to boycott this issue alone. I started by persuading customers to stop buying this kind of turtles. After giving a few speeches to the parents and students at my school, a street vendor called me on my way home. His face twisted in a wicked grin, warned me to stop messing with his business. He even threatened me that if I keep doing that, he would take my life. The threatening words sent chills down my spine, and I couldn't shake off the fear. The word made it hard for me to sleep at night, and I woke up feeling like a nervous wreck. I knew that I just couldn't face this alone anymore. So I told everything to my sister.
As she shared her story with me, tears started to roll down both our eyes. We sat there face to face with each other, just like two reflections in a mirror. I couldn't help but felt conflicted. I knew we both wanted to join forces again like we used to. But at the same time, I was hesitant about falling into the trap of doing everything the same way as her again. I remember the wise words of the 91-year-old twin grandmas, cautioning us not to become too identical. As I pondered the situation, I began questioning why we have to adhere to the expectations that the society imposed on us. Why couldn't we simply follow our own beliefs and values?
I always thought that both the Eastern collectivism and the Western individualisms are pretty cool. However, I just don't understand why we keep getting stuck in one way of thinking instead of using the best of both.
In the first phase of our experiment, we were focusing on similarities. In the second phase, we embraced differences. And now in the third phase, we wanted to team up and use our strengths to support each other. I realized that in trying to become unique individuals, my twin and I may have become slaves to the very herd mentality that we were trying to avoid at first place. The pressure to stand out and be different can be just as strong as the pressure to conform to individualism and to fit in. So, we made a decision to boycott this cruel painted turtle industry with our 2 heads, 2 lives, and double the time.
You go first.
We started by sneaking in the factories and exposing the terrible things happening behind the scenes.
Davida made use of her talents in networking, connecting journalists, animal welfare volunteers, celebrities, and those who have the power in broadening our reach.
And Sneaky Becca came up with a plan inspired by the all-you-can-eat buffet. It went something like this.
So, Davida went into the factory first, chatting with the staff. Oh, I told you she's a networking nerd. After that, she pretended that she'd forgotten something outside. And as she stepped out, I come in. Keep chatting with the staff, distracting them, while Davida secretly took photos in different corners. And after we returned home, we were living in each other's pocket again 24/7. Just like the best partners, I took charge of writing articles while she reached out to the media and spread the words.
As more and more people learned about this unethical industry, they started to boycott the turtle trade with us. At the same time, many journalists began reporting on this issue, causing a stir in the local community and encouraging even more people to stop buying the turtles. So, no buying, no killing.
We also created our own online newspapers where we wrote about the good things we did each week, spreading positivity wherever we went.
We knew we wanted to make an even bigger impact and reach even more people. So we turned to social media and we launched our own account. We learned to leverage each other's strengths and we quickly gained 2 million followers on our channel.
2 million. We name our account the 91 years old twins. However, unlike the previous 91 years old twin grandmas we met, we felt that if we ever get lucky to hit the age of 91, and some young kids come to us for life tips, we're going to tell them proud and loud that
our story is a testament that no matter where you come from, it's important to not be limited by any particular set of values.
Instead, it's important to blend collectivism and individualism, allowing altruism and unity to flourish alongside independence and uniqueness.
Thank you.